please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes, I do.
You may take your seat.
Please say your name and spell your name.
Patrick Sanford, Sanford.
How are you employed?
I'm a special agent with the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
How long have you been with the FBI?
Approximately a little over 24 years, 22 of which I was here in Tallahassee.
What are your duties there?
I'm a special agent. I investigate cases and protect national security.
And were you assigned to investigate a murder case involving the murder of Dan Markell?
Yes, I was.
Were you the lead investigator on that case?
Correct.
Did you assist the Tallahassee Police Department in that case?
Yes, I did.
Why was the FBI included in that particular investigation?
At the beginning, they had several leads, like interviews, things that they needed to track down that were outside of the city of Tallahassee. That we have agents, all over the country, so we're able to facilitate some of those leads and track down certain aspects of the case.
And were some of those leads in the Miami area?
Yes, they were.
And were you assisted by Miami authorities as well in the investigation?
Correct.
As part of the investigation, were the people that were considered to be closest to the victim interviewed?
Yes, they were.
And would that include the ex-wife, Wendy Adelson?
Yes.
What did you learn in the investigation about the relationship between the victim and his ex-wife, Wendy Adelson?
They had gone to through a very contentious divorce, which even after the divorce was finalized, they still had several issues that they dealt with through the court system.
I'm going to approach with what I've marked as State's Exhibit 56. Do you recognize this exhibit?
Yes, I do.
You had an opportunity to look at that exhibit before?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and is that a fair and accurate copy of Wendy Adelson and Dan Markell's divorce file
That's correct.
from the clerk's office here in Leon County?
Correct.
Judge, at this time I'm asked to move into evidence State's Exhibit 56.
And objection states 56.
Just our previous objection, Your Honor.
Very well. States 56 is admitted at this time or defense objection.
Did you review this divorce file as part of your investigation in this case?
Yes, I did.
About how many pages are in that?
Around 576, I believe.
Okay. And I want to draw your attention to a couple things specifically, like on page 82, paragraph 13. They were arguing over everything, right? All the belongings.
Correct.
Down to a tennis racket.
That's correct.
Okay. As part of these proceedings, did Wendy Adelson seek to relocate with her children from Tallahassee to Miami, Florida?
Yes, she did.
And why did she want to relocate to South Florida, according to the filings?
The filing stated that she had a job offer in South Florida that was more lucrative than her current job.
All right. And did Mr. Markell object to her petition to relocate with the children?
He did.
Right. Did he file quite a lengthy and emphatic objection to that?
Yes, he did.
Okay. And in his motion, and that's going to be on page 82, why did he indicate he believed was the sole reason that Miss Adelson wanted to move to South Florida?
He says that he stated that the sole reason was because she could relocate with the party's minor children to be near her parents.
And was the relocation petition that Wendy filed, was that ruled on?
Yes, it was.
All right, so what did the court say about that?
The court ruled against that and ruled against her, saying she had to stay in Tallahassee with the children.
And if I said that was June 20th of 2013, does that sound right?
That's correct.
Okay. When was the divorce made final? And for that, I'll direct you to page 457 and 458.
I believe it was made final in July 31st of 2013, I believe.
All right. And did that conclude the legal issues between Miss Adelson and Professor Markell?
No, it did not.
All right. So they continued to file quite a lot of filings after that. Is that right?
That's correct.
In fact, there's over 250 more pages of stuff after the divorce was final. Sound right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay, I want to direct your attention to March 26th of 2014. Did Mr. Markel file a motion seeking some relief related to the grandmother, Donna Adelson?
Yes, he did.
And what specifically was he seeking in reference to Donna Adelson?
He was seeking to limit her visitation rights to where they had to be monitored, supervised.
By another adult.
That's correct.
And why in the pleading did Mr. Markel indicate that this supervision was needed?
I'm sorry. Could you refresh the page number?
Look at 450. 450.
Mr. Markel stated that that the children informed him that Grandma says you're stupid, and that she says you're trying to take your sunshines away.
But Grandma, meaning Donna Adelson,
That's correct.
was saying that telling the kids that Dan Markel was stupid.
That's correct.
Did you also come into possession of some emails that were exchanged between Wendy Adelson and Donna Adelson?
We did.
All right, I'm going to show you what I've marked as States Exhibit 57. Have you had an opportunity to review those emails
Yes, I have.
prior to today, which we can't find? Have you had a chance to review those before today?
I have.
Okay. Anything in those emails that goes to motive in your investigation?
Yes, there is.
And what is that?
She was being very assertive. Mrs. Adelson, Mrs. Donna Adelson, was being very assertive with Wendy Adelson, trying to influence her to do different things to Mr. Markel to get him to agree to let her and the children to move to South Florida.
And what was the thing that was expressly stated in these emails as the most important part of Wendy's whole divorce and litigation?
It was relocation to South Florida to be close to the family.
All right. And was there mention in those emails of a bribe that was to be offered to Dan Markel to potentially facilitate this relocation?
There was.
And who was going to pay for the bribe?
There was going to be a three-way payment between Donna and Harvey Adelson. We're going to pay 33% of it. Charlie Adelson would pay 33%, and then Wendy would pay the other 33%.
All right. And what was the total amount of this potential bribe?
$1 million.
All right. Was there any financial benefit to Wendy Adelson that occurred as a result of Dan Markel's death?
There was.
What were those that benefit or benefits?
There was at least, I believe, a couple of life insurance policies, one of which was around $2 million. There was Social Security benefits to the kids that were provided, I believe, like $4,800 a month. There was a 401k that he left behind, and some other accounts.
Pension as well?
Yes, there was a pension.
Okay. And some deferred comp, $217,000 there?
That's correct.
Okay. You mentioned the 401k. Do you recall how much money was in that?
I don't off the top of my head.
Okay. Is there something that could refresh your memory on that?
Possibly.
Does $100,000 sound right?
Yes, it does.
All right. As part of the investigation in this case, you looked at sort of the people closest to Dan. Did you also investigate the day of the homicide and his routine or activities that day?
We did.
And what did you learn about his schedule that day?
That morning, he had custody of the kids that day, of his two children, his two boys. He took them to daycare over off of West Tharp Street, dropped them off around 8:50 a.m., and then drove back across town and went to Premier Gym right off of McClay Boulevard, Thomasville Road, Capitol Circle area.
Was there any surveillance images captured outside the gym that showed the vehicles coming and going from there?
Yes, there was some exterior cameras on the gym itself, on the roof of the gym.
And did that surveillance, were you able to identify from that surveillance which vehicle was Dan Markell's vehicle arriving at the gym?
Yes, we were.
Okay, and was there another vehicle that appeared to be a suspect vehicle captured in this video?
That's correct.
And why did you describe, or why am I describing this other vehicle as a suspect vehicle?
We did obtain multiple pieces of footage, video footage around town, also showing that it appeared a light green Prius was following Mr. Markell wherever he went that morning.
And was that description of a vehicle consistent with the description that Mr. Geiger gave us of the vehicle that he saw leaving the crime scene?
That's correct.
All right, was there a compilation of relevant clips or parts of this video surveillance collected from Premier Gym to show the jury just sort of the relevant portions?
There was.
Right, and you've had an opportunity to review that?
I have.
Okay, and those images are fair and accurate clips or portions of the Premier Gym surveillance video?
That's correct.
Judge, I'd asked to introduce into evidence that Premier video surveillance footage at this time, which I believe is 83. We checked that.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
States 83 is removed.
States 83, Your Honor, and that's going in the form of. What did it say by 83? It's in the form of a disc, Your Honor, but I'd ask for permission to publish by way of the laptop. Alright, if you'll kind of walk us through what we're looking at here, and we may need to pause when he starts talking.
This is from the roof of the Premier Gym. This is off of the north side facing toward the Fresh Market, that area. If you're familiar with that area, Fresh Market's off to the right. There's an entrance to the right of the screen, and there's also the main entrance, which is way further left of the screen that you can't see here.
Alright, well this is a portion of the parking lot that's where the cars are lined up there.
That's correct. Those
Okay.
are vehicles parked in the parking lot of the gym.
Alright, let's publish. Okay, we're seeing a blue circle around a dark vehicle. Could you tell us what that indicates?
That is Mr. Markell's vehicle.
And this is him entering the gym at 9:11
That's correct.
a.m.?
He just came into the parking lot and is going around to the front side of the gym.
Alright, now what are we looking at?
This is just a different angle, a little bit further back, and this is Mr. Markell immediately preceding the video we just saw, where he's coming into the front of the gym.
Alright, and is he gonna park somewhere?
Yes, he parks right behind that American flag.
Alright, that was 9:12. What is this camera angle?
This is the same angle, it's just a little bit further to the left, and that is the front of the gym right there, where the green Prius just drove right in front of the front door of the gym.
Okay. So they entered the parking lot through different entrances.
That's correct. They entered over off of the west side of the parking lot.
Alright, so we see the Prius here, and we know where Mr. Markell's parked there behind the flagpole. What is that?
Correct. He's still in the vehicle, just exited the vehicle there, I believe.
Alright, so the blue circle indicates that's him getting out of his vehicle.
Correct.
And where's the Prius at this time?
The Prius continued on through the parking lot on the north side, and
Alright, now we're at 9:13 a.m. Is that Mr. Markell in the red?
yes, it is.
Do we have any reason to believe that any suspects entered the gym?
No, we do not.
how long was Professor Markel inside the gym?
I believe about an hour and a half. I believe it's about 10:38 when he leaves, somewhere around there.
All right, and what are we looking at here outside at 9:16 a.m.?
9:16, the green Prius is still driving through the parking lot, but it's coming back from where it had passed through. Coming back toward the gym. This is on the south side of the parking lot of the gym. And the green Prius just drove through there and is driving around the parking lot still. Again, the vehicle is turned around and is coming back toward the gym in the same parking lot.
Almost managed to get in a wreck there.
Just missed.
Okay, what's happening here?
This is Mr. Markel exiting the lobby of the gym, coming through the lobby.
All right, now at 10:34, what do we see?
We see Mr. Markel walking away from the front doors of the parking lot, into the parking lot toward his vehicle.
All right, so we saw Mr. Markel's vehicle leaving. Is that the Prius that was back there in that orange circle?
That's correct. They were in the far northwest part of the parking lot parked, and when he exited, they started to exit. And he exited on the Village Square Boulevard exit.
So we never saw anybody exit the Prius during the surveillance video.
No, we did
They
not.
stayed in the car the whole time.
That's correct.
Were you able to learn anything about the suspect vehicle from the surveillance images as far as the color?
We were able to determine the approximate viewer range of that type of vehicle based on the body style, going through the Toyota dealership and other experts. We're able to determine that it was a 2006 to 2009 Toyota Prius with a silver pine mica is the name of the paint, which is kind of a light green.
Were you able to learn anything or find any other surveillances to establish anything about the route the victim took to and from the gym?
Yes, we were.
What evidence was that?
We were able to obtain city bus video. All the city buses had video on the exterior and the interior of them. We went back along the route that he took, and we believe he took, and reviewed bus footage video of that and found footage of both vehicles.
All right, and just to try to get our timeline as narrow as we can, this gym video ends at 10:38 a.m. What time did the 911 call come in?
Came in, I believe, 11:02.
And have you had an opportunity to review the exhibit, State's Exhibit 84, with the video from the buses that's been put together similarly to how we did the gym surveillance?
Yes, I have.
And is it fair and accurate?
It is.
Judge, at this time I'd ask to introduce State's, let me check on the exhibit numbers, 84, correct? 84, which is the bus video clips.
Any objection?
No objection.
States 84 is admitted.
What are bus videos? Where are cameras mounted on city buses?
On the exterior and the interior of the buses, and it's for safety purposes and for review purposes for the city.
How were you able to know how to find this stuff?
We were able to find out which routes the bus took, but which buses took which route at which times. So we looked for that exact bus route along Thomasville Road during that time period.
Okay, so did you have to look through quite a bit of footage to get the little bits we're going to look at?
Yes, the team did.
Okay. All right, permission to publish States 84, Your Honor.
You may.
And the actual exhibit is in the form of a disc. All right, so where are we right here on the video?
This is right in front of the Circle K gas station, which is right on Thomasville Road at the Capitol Circle flyover. I believe it's Maclay Commerce Boulevard is the actual road that they're on.
All right, so if we're the bus, we're on Maclay Commerce.
That's correct. And the Circle K is to the right, and right in front of us is Thomasville Road with the divider where Capitol Circle flyover starts.
And what does the blue circle indicate?
That is the vehicle of Mr. Markel.
What time are we seeing him pass that area?
That is at 10:44.
Okay, so is that consistent with going back home from the gym?
That's correct.
Okay. And this is bus, we've got a couple different buses in play here, right? This one's 505.
Correct, 505.
Proceed, please. And what does the orange circle indicate?
That is the green Prius that was in the parking lot of Premier Gym.
All right, we're still on bus 505. What does this show?
So this is on Thomasville Road heading south, just south of the I-10. This is the entrance where the hospital is to the right. It's a red light.
By hospital, you're talking about the new ER.
The new ER, exactly, right by I-10 and Thomasville Road.
Were you able to get the tag number from this image from the bus?
No, unfortunately we weren't. The resolution on these cameras are set really low because they're saved on DVRs, and they don't want them to roll over too fast, so they set the resolution extremely low, and we were not able to pull anything out of that.
Where is Professor Markel's vehicle at this point?
It is past the red light. It's already made it through the red light. Still heading south on Thomasville Road.
And that's almost 10:48 a.m. Is that time correct at the bottom there?
Correct.
Okay, and now we're at 10:51 p.m. I'm sorry, a.m. Still bus 505. What will you pause it, please? What does the orange circle indicate here? Where are we and what does the circle indicate?
We're still southbound on Thomasville Road. This intersection is Benton Road, which is where Winthrop Park is. Benton Road is where the cars are stopped at. In the left-hand turn lane on the far left side of the screen is the green Prius waiting to turn left on the Benton Road.
And is that a route to get to Professor Markel's residence on Trescott?
That's correct.
And that's 10:51 a.m.?
Correct.
Okay. Now have we gone to a different bus?
Yes, this is bus 707.
And what are we looking at on bus 707?
So this is northbound on Thomasville Road at Hermitage. This is at 10:55 a.m. and there's two lanes there. They're in the right-hand lane. The bus is in the right-hand lane, but the camera's on the outside of the bus looking backwards. So you'll see oncoming traffic coming behind the bus.
And what do we see here?
We see the green Prius pulling up next to the bus.
Alright, so this is 10:55. We last saw him at 10:51. Is that narrower murder window down to that 4 minutes?
That's correct. This is north of where the victim was, and this is coming from the victim's house.
I think we've prepared a second clip if you just let it play through of that in slow motion. Tell us what we're supposed to be looking for in this clip.
So you can see inside the vehicle, even though it has tinted windows, you can see the driver's wearing dark clothes, but the passenger appears to have a long sleeve white shirt on, and he's very animated in the passenger seat. You can also see some distinctive features of the car.
Okay, I think we've got this highlighted here in a moment. What are these distinctive features? Will you pause it here, please?
So the first one on the lower right-hand corner is what's called a tow hook cover. Vehicles in the bumper have, some vehicles have a little plate in there that you can remove, and it has a metal hook inside of it, so a tow truck can hook to that metal hook and pull the car if it needs to. This particular vehicle is missing its tow hook cover. You can see there's a hole in the front bumper, so it's been removed and not been replaced. Also on the front windshield is a sun pass. It was affixed to the windshield. And then on the far left side of the screen is the black rear view mirror of the vehicle. Toyota Priuses made in those years had matching mirrors. The mirrors were painted with the car, same color of the car. And you can see in the video that the driver's side mirror was still painted, but the passenger side mirror was black, indicating it had been damaged and been replaced by an aftermarket mirror.
Okay. And what is a sun pass transponder?
Sun pass transponders are used primarily in South Florida, especially back then. We didn't really have any sun pass toll booths up here, but they're used to pay for tolls going on toll roads, and where you don't have to stop and pay cash on the toll booth. You can pay for it. I'm sorry, I
interrupted you. Go ahead.
You can pay for it in advance, assign it to your car, create an account, and affix it to your vehicle, so you don't have to stop going through toll booths.
When you observed that it appeared there was a sun pass transponder in this vehicle back at this time, when did you obtain this video, do you know?
This was back in 2014.
Okay. Did it signify to you this vehicle may have come from South Florida?
That's correct.
What efforts were made to follow up on the sun pass?
So we ended up working with an investigator with Florida Department of Transportation who maintains Florida Sun Pass. So gave them subpoenas, and we ended up thinking the best route for somebody to go through South Florida with the Sun Pass would be through Orlando. We obtained video in Orlando to try to see if that green Prius passed through any of the toll booths there. We also obtained a list of all green Priuses in that year range that had a registered SunPass to it.
How many of those were there?
Thousands.
All right, let's let this exhibit finish. Any more view here? Can you explain what this is?
This is the same bus as the light turned green at Hermitage going north on Thomasville, and this is the green Prius passing the bus.
So as far as pulling the needle out of the haystack, finding this one Prius, it didn't work as from the SunPass alone.
No, not from the SunPass alone.
All right, was any work done to try to zero in on some cell phone analysis around the locations where we know the suspect Prius was that day?
Yes, there was.
Okay, and was Sergeant Corbett the person responsible for looking on the cell phone analysis,
He was.
including looking for any phones of interest traveling in those areas that might have been following Dan Martell?
That's correct.
All right, and based on the analysis that we're going to hear from Sergeant Corbett, did you develop an idea of the route that the suspects may have taken?
We did.
I know you said you had already tried the SunPass booths in Orlando, which is one potential route to South Florida.
That's correct.
Okay. What did the phone evidence lead you to look at instead of that route?
We were able to obtain those phone records that showed the vehicle traveled down 75 and did not go through Orlando. Took I-10 to 75 all the way down, actually on the way up also, but on the way down 75 through Tampa, through Naples, then across Alligator Alley on 75 to Miami.
All right, so sort of not the expected route.
Correct. It's a longer route than going through the turnpike down through Orlando.
Okay, and you already suspected the vehicle was headed south, I guess, based on just the existence of the SunPass transponder.
Correct.
Okay, and that's sort of corroborated by these phone records.
Correct.
All right. So now that you learned that the vehicle traveled this other route through Alligator Alley, did you find any place where the SunPass transponder went through? I guess there are some toll booths that you have to go through if you go that route as well, right?
That's correct. There was
Where
only two.
are those located?
They're basically on Alligator Alley. There's one going eastbound going westbound on the east side in Broward County. When you leave Miami going across Alligator Alley, there's one there going if you're traveling westbound. And then on the way back, there was one going eastbound just outside of Naples.
And were you able to find a Prius going through those SunPasses that might have been our Prius?
Yes, we were.
How were you able to do that? What did you ask for?
We asked for particular times. We knew about what times they went through the toll booths. We asked for any green Priuses around those times that had activated the SunPass.
And how many green Priuses traveled through the SunPass booths, both going and coming in the same time windows you were looking for?
Just one.
All right, and from that, were you able to identify the particular SunPass transponder that we were looking for that was affixed to the suspect vehicle?
We were.
How'd you do that?
We went to Florida Department of Transportation and asked for that particular details of that transponder. They gave us a subscriber for that particular one.
And who was the subscriber?
It was a company called Hybrid Auto Rental, also called Save Gas, and it's out of down on Biscayne Boulevard in North Miami.
All right, did you go there?
I did.
All right, what did you learn about the suspect vehicle from Save Gas?
By the time we got there, he'd already sold the vehicle. It was over a year later, but it was rented by Luis Rivera. He provided us with the basically a receipt, the contract where it was rented during that time period.
So from the paperwork that you got from Save Gas, you learned you got a rental contract that showed who rented the vehicle?
That's correct.
Okay, and also any information about the vehicle itself, like a VIN or a tag number?
Yes, correct. It gave all the information on the vehicle too.
What is this place Save Gas like? Is that like a enterprise or something else?
No, it's a small, locally owned, individually owned car rental place that kind of repairs his own vehicles, buys and sells vehicles and rents them out.
All right, Judge, at this time I'd ask to introduce the rental agreement, states 58.
No objection.
No objection.
States 58 is admitted.
So if you can kind of walk us through that. Walk us through this information that's in the renter's information block.
Yes, at the top left, it's renter information is Louis Rivera. Has his address that matches his driver's license address, and then it has a telephone number down below that.
This phone number here.
Correct.
And was this information up here also of interest to law enforcement?
It was. That number that has brother next to it, that was one of the numbers that numbers of interest that gave us the pattern going down to South Florida.
Was this number associated with a person eventually?
It was.
Who's that person?
Sigfredo Garcia.
We've got some other information on here about when the vehicle was rented. Were you able to deduce from this when the vehicle was due back?
Yes, it was supposed to be back. I believe that's toward the bottom, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Thank you. I'm sorry, yeah. So the date it was rented was 7/15 at 6:15 p.m. and it was due back on 7/17.
So July 15th of 2014?
Correct, 2014.
That's when it was rented.
Correct.
And it was supposed to be back July 17th?
Correct. That was the
And
date
did it
due
get
back.
returned on time?
No, it did not.
Or is there anything on that document in reference to the extension of time?
Yes, down at the bottom, it also shows that from 7/18 through 7/20, it says, I believe 965 paid cash, and then 7/20 to 7/21, so it shows a $55 balance and some other numbers where they ended up having to pay it, and some other notes about paying cash out of the deposit.
So it looks like they didn't return it until July 21st.
That's correct.
All right, and you said that the phone number listed on top there with the word brother turned out to be Sigfredo Garcia's phone number. How do we know that's his phone number?
It was listed one time on a Facebook page that was associated with him, and also listed on a pawn receipt where he'd pawned some, I believe it was some jewelry, and used his fingerprint on that, had to place his fingerprint on the pawn receipt when he did it, and he listed that phone number as his.
Okay, I want to publish what's been introduced as states. Have you introduced this? I'm going to show you states 59. First, ask you if you recognize states 59.
I did.
How do you recognize it?
I recognize it as an exhibit that lists the subjects in this investigation.
And is the information contained on the exhibit fair and accurate?
Yes.
Judge has to introduce states 59.
No objection.
No objection.
States 59 is admitted.
All right, so you were saying there was a Facebook post or a Facebook account linked to this phone number with a photograph of Sigfredo Garcia as the owner of the account.
Correct. It was labeled Tudo Day, but it was a picture of Sanford.
All right. And throughout the course of your investigation, have you come to know Tudo Dade or Tudo as a nickname for Sigfredo Garcia?
That's correct.
And does anybody else on this State's Exhibit 59 have a nickname?
Yes.
Who is that?
Luis Rivera is also known as Tato.
Okay. And were you able to subpoena phone records for all the people shown on this State's Exhibit 59?
We were.
All right, and establish phone numbers for the phone numbers they were all using at the time of the homicide?
That's correct.
Did you conduct any investigation into Catherine Magbanua and her employment status around the time of this homicide?
We did.
All right, what did you learn about her employment status?
At the time of the homicide, she was shortly after the homicide, I believe it was about 2 months after the homicide, she became employed with the Adelson Institute.
Okay, but at the actual time of the homicide, anything other than maybe odd jobs?
Right. Just odd jobs and maybe some bartending work.
All right, what is the Adelson Institute?
It's a family-owned dentist practice in South Florida.
All right, and did you go to the Adelson Institute?
I did.
Did you attempt to subpoena employment records for Catherine Magbanua at that business?
Yes, I did.
All right, tell us about that.
Myself and Investigator Isom approached the business with a subpoena. Went in, spoke with the lady at the front desk, told her we had a subpoena for records for Catherine Magbanua. Made some inquiries about her employment there, and they continued to bring somebody else up and talk to us about it, and then went back in the back and made a phone call.
All right, so when you went in there, Catherine Magbanua was not physically present there.
She was not.
Okay. Was she still receiving checks at the time that you went in there?
Yes, I believe she was.
Okay. And did the employees in there seem to know what she did there?
No, not at all.
All right. Were you eventually provided with some documentation from that business?
Later on, yes.
I'm going to show you what I've marked as State 60. Do
Yes.
you recognize it?
Yes, I do.
Okay, what is State 60?
It's a list of checks that were issued to Catherine Magbanua.
And is this exhibit the complete information that you were provided by the Adelson Institute in response to your subpoena for the entire employee file of Catherine Magbanua?
Yes, this is it. This is all they provided.
All right, and you mentioned a list of checks. Was there anything in here that... We're getting that feedback. IT, if you're listening, we need feedback support. Any indication of what her job was there?
No.
Any indication of like her schedule,
No.
timesheets,
Nothing.
an employment application,
Nope.
W-2,
Nope.
any tax forms,
No.
performance evaluations, or anything like that?
Nothing.
And over what period was she being paid according to the records that were provided to you?
I believe it started in September of 14 and went through early 2016, maybe.
March 31st
March.
of 16?
That's correct.
And so those payments began about 2 months after the homicide?
Correct.
And did you notice in the records that were provided that some of the check numbers were consecutive, meaning consecutive numbers?
Yes, we did.
Did you ever get any evidence that Ms. Magbanua was physically going to the Adelson Institute to perform any kind of duties there?
No, we never obtained any evidence to show that at all.
All right, and there was some surveillance at some time being performed of her person, right?
That's correct.
Can you tell us about that? What time frame was she being monitored?
We started monitoring her in late 2015, probably November. Basically electronic surveillance on her residence. Plus we also were monitoring her phone, location services on her phone historically and prospectively too.
And how long was that the case? How long was she being monitored? What period of time?
Electronic video surveillance was from November of 15 until until she no longer lived at that apartment.
Alright, and
Which
through
was-
any of those means that you described, were you able to deduce what it was she was doing for the Adelson Institute in person or remotely?
No, not at all.
Alright, and we heard in opening that there was a wiretap in this case. Anything on the wiretap that indicated what she was doing for that business?
There was a couple of references about cleaning up on the weekends. That was about it, though.
Okay, and again, we would have known if she'd gone there to clean up on the weekends, right? At least during the time frame she described.
That's correct.
And that didn't happen.
It did not.
Okay. 1 moment, please, Ryan.
Thank you.
Ms. Kappelman, if you can move the left turn slightly over to the left, and it's not pulling any wires, is it?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna move it anyway. Don't worry.
Okay.
I'm gonna move it way more.
Try not to jockey with the microphones, because that might be causing some of the feedback.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Let's actually start where we left off, the checks.
Okay.
Okay. The checks began 2 months after the date that Professor Markel was murdered, give or take.
That's what the date on the checks were for that employment, correct?
And the checks were in batches, right? Often.
They seem to be, the sequence of the check numbers were in batches, correct?
So just so everyone understands what that means, you would see a check for check number 1, 2, 3, and 4, for instance. And you would see those checks, even though they were the next checks in the book, they'd be for payments every 2 weeks, essentially.
Correct. What I observed was a few checks in sequence, and at the bottom it would give date ranges of when they were for, and they would be for 2 week segments, and then the very next check was for another 2 week segment later on, and then there was other checks in the system that were dated out of range of those.
So it looked like Miss Magbanawa was given a stack of checks at a time, for instance. Fair assumption?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay. Those checks, when you added them up, they were about $1,000 a month, right?
I believe so. Yeah, it was like $460 a month or something like that. Or every 2 weeks, I mean.
$460 every 2 weeks.
Correct.
Which I'm not great at math. $920, and there's taxes, a little bit of taxes taken out, right?
Sure. Correct.
So about $1,000 a month.
Correct.
Now, I think you testified that the state's theory of why this murder occurred was partially a murder because of the desire of Miss Adelson to relocate. I think that's what you testified on direct. Is that fair to say?
That's fair.
You're aware that the relocation motion was denied in June of 2013, right?
Correct.
And that's more than a full year before the murder, right?
The relocation was in June of 13? Yes.
The murder was in middle of July of 2014.
Right. Correct.
As part of your investigation, did you learn that No one really thought the relocation motion was going to be successful?
I don't know about no one, but there was some indication that they thought it might not be successful, correct?
Did you try to speak to Miss Adelson's lawyer?
I did not know. Tallahassee Police Department did at one point.
And did they learn that the motion was, as she says in an email, a moonshot?
I don't know that.
Now, you discussed in your direct examination, you talked about some of these emails. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Actually, before we get there. No, actually, let's do it. Those emails, you reviewed them?
I reviewed some of them, not all of them. The team did.
Okay. Out of the ones that you reviewed, anything in those emails about murder?
About murder? No.
Anything in those emails about violence?
Not that I saw, no.
Anything in those emails about any type of illegal activity at all?
Not that I recall. I mean, the bribe itself wouldn't be illegal, I don't think.
In fact, with regard to the $1 million email, I think is the one that you're referring to, did you see emails where they were consulting lawyers about whether that $1 million offer was legal?
I did.
So fair to say, as crazy as the emails were, we agree they're crazy, right?
Yes.
There was at least some sanity to make sure what they were doing was legal, right?
One portion of it, yes.
Now, those emails, did you see any emails where any of these ideas were coming from Charlie Adelson?
I saw some emails where they were discussed with him, apparently.
But any time where he was actually coming up with the ideas, as opposed to being copied on the email where he says, okay, sounds good.
I think there was some reference of her saying she discussed it with him, but I did not see emails from him. No.
Meaning Donna discussing it with
Correct.
his mother.
Correct.
The $1 million email, I think we'll talk about this later in more detail when you're back. But let's just tie it up here a little bit. You've listened to Mr. Adelson on the phone a lot, right?
I did.
Is it fair to say he's a big talker?
That's fair.
Is it fair to say he repeats himself a lot?
That is very fair.
Through your investigation, are you aware that this $1 million idea, where Mr. Adelson was going to lend a third of $1 million, that he talked to a lot of people about that idea? Are you aware of that through your investigation?
I am not aware of that.
Now, back to the divorce. Are you aware that the divorce between Professor Markel and Miss Adelson was finalized in July of 2013?
That's my understanding, yes, correct.
Again, that's about a year before the murder, correct?
Correct.
And after Miss Adelson's relocation motion was denied, are you aware that she was determined to make a life for herself in Tallahassee?
I don't know if I can speak to that.
Well, let me see if I can help you. You went through Miss Adelson's emails as well in your investigation?
I did not. The team did.
Did anyone from the team talk to you about those emails?
Some of them.
All right, well, let's see if you're aware of some of these. Are you aware that she was looking to buy property in Tallahassee?
No, it was not.
You didn't see any emails to that effect?
I did not personally, no.
Are you aware that she was looking to enroll her kids in schools, a new school in Tallahassee, for the fall of 2014? In other words, after the time when Mr. Markel was murdered.
I know there was discussions about that with Mr. Markel. I am aware of that.
Are you aware that she was scheduling plans with friends in Tallahassee for August of 2014 and for the fall of 13, all of which would have occurred after the murder? Are you aware of that?
No.
You didn't see those in any emails that you reviewed?
I did not see those, no.
Are you aware that she was scheduling business meetings for late July 2014? See emails on them.
I did not see that, no.
Are you aware that she purchased plane tickets leaving for Tallahassee to go to a wedding out of state? Those plane tickets were purchased in June, but they were purchased for an October wedding. She bought plane tickets to leave from Tallahassee. Are you aware of that?
No.
Are you aware that her family, including Mr. Adelson, was planning to come up to Tallahassee in August 2014 when Miss Adelson was going to be honored at FSU?
No,
You didn't see any emails on that either, did you?
I didn't.
But you're aware that the state subpoenaed Miss Adelson's emails, right?
I am.
Now, you also mentioned this, I like to call it the grandmother motion. Can we call it that?
Sure.
In March of 2014, there's these, it actually starts earlier. It starts, I have that big binder.
It was February.
Yes.
The clerk has it.
All right, well, I'm not, it's okay. Somewhere in that big binder, there's a bunch of litigation back and forth with Miss Adelson and Professor Markel regarding money.
Yes.
And at some point in the course of a motion that Wendy Adelson filed, Professor Markel files a motion back, and that's when he seeks to have only supervised visits of the kids with Donna Adelson. That's the motion you were talking about with Ms. Kappelman, correct?
Correct.
And that occurs in early 2014, right?
It does.
Now, the motion doesn't get heard because Ms. Adelson's lawyer has to recuse herself, right?
I believe so.
And she has to recuse herself because Professor Markel makes allegations against that lawyer as well.
I'm not aware of that, but okay.
And so that's part of the reason of the delay of why the motion's not heard. Are you aware of that?
I am, correct.
Are you aware that in the course of this litigation, in that binder, I don't want to find the page, I won't be able to, that the court chastised, was critical of Professor Markel on this motion?
No, I'm not aware of that.
Are you aware that the court highlighted that the motion probably wouldn't be granted?
No, I did not. I did not see that.
The jury looks at it. Are you aware that on July 11th, 2014, this is months after that motion. Well, let me back up. When you studied this case, is it fair to say that with all the litigation, there were good times, good periods of times after the divorce between Professor Markel and Miss Adelson as well, right?
I can't speak to that. My partner did most of that research, so I was not very familiar with it.
Fair enough. Well, are you aware that on July 11th, 2014, so this is several months after the grandmother motion, that Professor Markel asked Donna and Harvey Adelson to watch the kids for him?
I am not aware of that.
Are you aware that he had a function to go to and Miss Adelson had another function to go to, and he didn't have childcare for them, and he asked them to watch the kids for him?
No.
7 days before the murder?
Not aware of it.
Couple months. Ms. Kappelman on direct asked you about a life insurance policy. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And she asked you, she made it seem like, well, let me be clear. Was it your position that Wendy Adelson gained $2 million from that life insurance policy?
I believe there is I believe that Mr. Markel's sister has custody of that and is supposed to distribute to, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but I believe distribute to the children as needed.
So let me be clear so the jury's not confused. Are you aware that Professor Markel had a life insurance policy in March of 2012?
I'm not sure of the dates, but I knew he had one.
And that originally Wendy Adelson was the beneficiary of that policy.
That sounds right.
But in October of 2012, 2 years before his murder, he signed the policy over, making his sister the beneficiary and the custodian for his boys. Are you aware of that?
I wasn't sure of the date, but yes, I'm aware of that.
So Wendy Adelson isn't permitted to get any money from that policy without Professor Markel's sister, correct?
Yes, without her sister, yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure that's clear. Special Agent, you've been a FBI agent for almost 25 years.
Correct.
Mostly in Miami, right?
No, in here in Tallahassee.
In Tallahassee, okay. Apologies. You've investigated, fair to say, maybe more than a dozen murders?
Fair to say.
How many murders for hire have you done
Recently?
in your life?
Over my lifetime, probably half a dozen, but in the past 2 years, 2.
So, putting this case aside, which I know you believe is a murder for hire, putting this case aside, in those cases that you've done that were murder for hires, did the hitman get paid over time?
Paid over time? Not in those cases.
Never, right? In your experience.
Not in those particular cases, no.
Because hitmen, they usually don't like to be connected to the people they're doing a hit for, right?
It's case by case basis.
But in your experience, hitmen get paid before and after. 2 payments or 1 payment.
It depends on circumstances.
How about in the ones you've done?
Depends on circumstances. Sometimes after, sometimes before, sometimes both.
But in your cases, that's it. It's either before or 1 payment after, right?
The ones I've investigated have been, we made arrests on them, so they didn't continue on.
Okay. You made arrests immediately on them?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever done an extortion case?
Yes, but it's been years ago.
You've seen a lot of extortion cases, I'm sure, at the Bureau.
Sure.
How do people get paid in extortion cases?
Different ways.
Mostly they get paid over time, right?
They can, if the extortion continues, yes.
May I have 1 moment, Your Honor?
Redirect examination.
In reference to the money that is set aside for the boys, how does the money get to the little kids from the sister?
Through Wendy Adelson has to make those requests and then provide it to them.
All right, so per Donna Adelson, in reference to those emails you were asked about, what was the number 1 objective for Wendy?
Relocation to South Florida to be close to family.
And going through the courts, that failed, right?
Correct, it did.
So whether it was a moonshot or not, it didn't work.
That's correct.
And as far as making sure the bribe to Dan Markel was going to be legal, what would Dan Markel have done if they had done something illegal?
He would have held it against him, I'm
Would
sure.
have nailed their butts with it, wouldn't he?
Absolutely.
Can't do that now, can he?
No.
Did any of those plans that were going to take place in Tallahassee after the murder happen?
No, they did not.
Did Wendy buy a house in Tallahassee?
No, she didn't.
Did Wendy fly out of Tallahassee to go to a wedding?
No.
Did the boys go to school that fall here in Tallahassee?
No, they didn't.
Where did they go to school?
In South Florida, right across the street from where Grandma lived.
And why didn't those plans happen in Tallahassee?
Because Mr. Markell was murdered.
Did the grandma motion you were asked about, they said, well, it probably wasn't going to get granted. Well, it didn't get granted or denied, did it?
Never was heard.
Why not?
Because he was murdered.
No further questions.
It is Sanford, you may step down for now. Members of the jury will only take a brief break before we
Hear from the next witness.